Hello everyone, it's Bobo the Vulture, and it's time for more Let's Play Gran Turismo 2. Gran Turismo 2 being the real driving simulator. So, last time we got that Alpha 155 and it was really cool, and we earned some money driving it around. But we didn't actually sell our previous car to get ourselves more money. And you know what? I'm going to sell that car. Do I want to sell it? Yeah, I want to sell it. So I have a 155 touring car. We don't have $1 million. And I'm tempted. Wait, let's look at the 155 touring car. What does it steal? It has 544 horsepower. That seems like a real good car to take to a race somewhere. It has 544. How much did the Tigra have? I feel like putting one of those into a legit race series. 524 and 544, was it? Yeah, 524 and 544. They probably actually have a little bit too much for the events I was thinking about, which are not under the GT Gran Turismo League. That's right, folks. I was thinking about the Super Touring Trophy and the GT300 Championship. They have too much for this. Well, they don't have too much for that. I'm going to look at a video here and see what this championship is all about. Because it certainly is a big one, isn't it? Alright. I mean, our car meets the technical specifications for it in terms of the horsepower and everything, but it's obviously supposed to be this special series just for the Japanese cars. Which I think I knew, but so that's the GT300. And the GT500 I think is something similar. It's just different cars. Suppose I could bring my Super Supra into this series. I think that's one of the places it's supposed to go. Maybe that one of my nice NSXs. Well, there you go. Yeah, the Tom Supra, the Dakota NSX, all these crazy Japanese GT cars. Look at them, they're all crazy. Oh, let's get out of here. So that's kind of a shame. We have cars that are too nice for those other series now. For those other series. We'll have to find Enduros or other various places to put them. That also does further in my mind put a stamp of authority on the thing I want to do next. As you'd noticed, I was wandering around in Europe picking up some various things. I'm hopping over to East City, though. And I'm going to go into East mode. Yeah. It's a specialist manufacturer. Its range focuses on small cars. It sure does. Let's see here. We've entered the Midget Challenge, and we've already done very well there. The Mira Challenge. We have not entered the Mira Challenge. And I just checked that. I meant to go down to the Storia Challenge, which is a storied championship indeed. Alright, so got normal style and racing style. You might be able to see what I'm doing here, because there is a special car here. It's the Storia Rally Car, which is a nice looking rally car. It's $1 million, though. Why did I think it was only $500,000? Oh well. I I I'm disappointed, folks. But somebody told me that the Storia rally car, I forget whether or not it was somebody that told me. No, I think it was an FAQ I read. I never bothered to pick that one up, but they went on about how awesome the Storia is and such. The Storia X4. 118 horsepower, that's big time. Possibly. I mean, I kind of thought that this was one of those microcars that only had 63 horsepower. Well, obviously that's not the hot rod of the range. What's going on here? 59? I think we all know where the real hot rod is. The Dirty Dog Storia X4. Which can only be had in pure white. So in April 1998, after the Storia's debut, 4x4 model augmented its presence in the motorsports segment. It was the concept as a new trend in 1000cc automobiles. Its displacement is multiplied by a predetermined factor greater than 1. Okay. The displacement of turbocharged vehicle. Basically, it's the idea being that, let's say, for example, you had a 3-liter naturally aspirated car. You could only have a 2.5-liter turbocharged car. That's as an example. This is not what's actually happening here, because obviously this is less than 1 liter rather than 3 liters or less, as I was describing it. Amazingly high maximum output of 118 horsepower. That's amazing! It's not that amazing. But yeah, motorsports model at 1,840 pounds is also the lightest all-wheel drive Storia. Excuse me. This model has been a shining success at rallies, dirt track races, and other competitions. So, 1,840, eh? But this is 1,851. It must have an extra spoiler. Spoiler alert, guys. Has an extra spoiler. That's alright. I'm going to go ahead and mess with this thing and make the ultimate Storia anyway. Stage 2, you can get it up to 160 horsepower. Isn't that amazing? Isn't it fascinating? I just did that. Sorry, folks. It's the old reactions here. They're not as sharp as they could be. Which is too bad, because I actually just started this session. I'm only probably going to record a video or two. That's what I tend to find these days. I have less free time at the end of the day. At least that's what it feels like. To actually sit down and get some recording in. But it's okay. If I sound like I'm complaining, I do sincerely apologize. I don't actually mean that to be a complaint. It's just an observation of, Can't remember the last time on one of my own series. When I sit down to collaborate with Mysterious JG on projects, we'll often have set aside a block of time to sort of make sure that we get some good footage in, because of course we don't see each other all the time. I'll maybe see him like once a week, something like that. Mysterious JG, who could he be? I don't know. I don't know who he could be. I do know who he is, but I'm not telling. Alright, so, geez, almost 200 horsepower out of this little guy. That's not actually impressive, but we'll pretend like it is. And we'll do some weight reduction, because funds. This is actually turning out to be not that expensive a car to completely tune. When I say not that expensive to completely tune, I'm obviously speaking in terms of this game. Clearly, we just spent almost twice the car's price on making it lighter than we spent on the actual car, which is just silly. Let's go to this Storia challenge and enter it and see what happens. So that's the maximum we can get out of the car in this format. Oh, goody, another special stage. Those are my favorite, you guys. You don't even know. Alright, let's load it up at least. Well, some of these guys are obviously not in the Motorsports X4 model because their cars are colors other than white. You know, I was being mean to this car, but it's actually quite a bit of fun. With the amount of ridiculous tuning that we've done to it. I only hit the wall there a little bit. Yeah, it's a little one of these little mighty mites. I keep extolling their virtues, I guess, in this thing. In this Let's Play adventure, but they are fun. I mean, look at it. It just wants to play. Wants to play Clacks or something. Or some other obscure title. I guess Clacks isn't that obscure, is it? But how many of you honestly have played Clacks? Or, more to the point, how many of you played Clacks back when Clacks was a new thing, and you didn't go back and visit it later? When you were like, hey, here's a game from the past that I never played, Clacks. It was the 90s, and there was time to play Clacks. But no one did. Sorry, Clacks. And you may all be asking yourselves, Bobo, why are you off your meds? Or maybe you're being more direct about it and just asking why you're talking about Clacks. And I honestly can't answer that question. Or I can't honestly answer that question. One of those two things, at least. Honestly, I can't honestly answer that question. If I'm being honest with you right now, I will tell you I cannot answer that question in an honest way. And at this point I can't because I can barely remember what the question even was. That's the level of high quality blather that you'll get out of Bobo the Vulture during one of these Bobo the Vulture LPs. On the bright side, it looks like we're going to be pretty good shape to get a pretty easy win out of this. So, that's nice. Front straighter was slightly longer than I was expecting. I thought I'd just throw it into reverse near the end of there and try and destroy the transmission, I guess. So you go, folks. The X4s are obviously an illegal edge. Let's get out of here. I got first place. I'm happy enough with that. Didn't get a new car for our efforts, but kind of wasn't expecting one. Are you sure the Storia Rally car is $1 million? I can't have it? It's too many credits? Let's look at the spec sheet here. Some sort of unnamed dual overhead cam engine. So, we got that. Is there anything I can use this Storia for now? This little all-wheel drive hatchback thingy that has a hair under 200 horsepower. I feel like it should have more of a fun time, good times that it can go to that I don't really have for it here. I guess not, because it's certainly not entering any of these things. Alright. Well, in that case, I guess, unless I can find a car that I want to buy for less than $1 million, or yeah, less than $1 million, that I feel really confident I'm going to be able to do a lot of cool stuff with. Was there there was a neon trophy here, that was all, right? Oh, there was a Viper Festival Speed. It's a Viper. And there's a special, is it the Orica Viper? There's the concept car. There's the Phaeton. We have both of those, actually, at this point. And then, yes, there is the Orica Viper, which has a lot of horsepowers. Many horsepowers. I kind of don't feel like getting the RT10 basic convertible, though. I'm gonna have to eventually. There's no real way around it. I've already done the car races and stuff. Let's move away from South City. Let's head back to the east. Is there a... Who am I kidding? There are plenty of special events here that I never got around to completely completing, aren't there? Altezza Cup, Vitz Trophy. I did the Vitz Trophy, didn't I? I put on the Vitz. The MRS Trophy I never did because the Starlet meeting I did, Celica. The Altezza Cup, I didn't do that one, did I? Nope, sure didn't. Altezzas are kind of cool cars. They sold them in the US as the Acura IS. But, much as they sold this Aristo as the Lexus GS. It's cool looking, man. It's cool looking. Those were cool looking cars back in the early 90s. I remember when those were out there as the thing that you could have. So, alright, no used Altezzas. That may just be... I think it was a brand new thing at this point. Yeah, it's the Lexus IS. Okay, that's what they were calling. That's what they were saying. That was the calling card. Although I don't think you could get one with 157 horsepower. I feel like they made them with more horsepowers than that. And the RS200, what was its story? Its story was that it had way more power. Were there any other Altezas? We'll have to find out. Was there an Alteza? Oh, this is the IS200 European model. Hey. 152 horsepower. Alright, so we're back to that again. All very confusing. All very confusing. Look at all these different... Wait, tuned by Toms? What does it mean? What kind of coolness is going on here? This one's tuned by Toms. Toms strove to transform Alteza's front-engine rear-wheel drive sedan into a true high-performance sports sedan. Tom's Chrono alloy wheels. You know what? This sounds pretty cool. But since I haven't saved, I'm not going to buy it because I get a sneaking suspicion I won't be able to race tune it. And I get the feeling there was no special racing Alteza that we could buy, was there? There were a selection of Super Supras. Oh, and the GT1. Okay. There's just one Supra. Castrol Toms. Hi, I'm Castrol Tom. Buy my Supra. No thanks, Castrol Tom. Maybe another time. Did we already win the Mirage Cup? We didn't even enter the Mirage Cup. I'm surprised at us. So much I've left undone here in Japan. I should have traveled all the way here. I think, did I already... No, I didn't do the Alto Works either, huh? I did the Cappuccino Cup, though. I know that. There was no Alto Works rally car, was there? There's pretty much just the hill climb cars, isn't there? Your car can't be tuned here. We don't take your kind here. Your Storia. You'll have to leave it outside. Yep, those guys. Worth every million. Alright, so we got a super cheap Alto Works. Right there. That looks like the kind of thing we want. Because these are going to be just those silly mini cars. Let's buy it and get inside. And then we can tune it and go take it out to race. And I bet we'll be able to run circles around these fancy schmancy brand new Alto Workses. Those new Alto Workses can suck it. 152 horsepower already, just out of stage 2 turbocharger. This thing is actually going to be probably faster than that Storia that we just hopped out of. I don't know if it'll be as much fun, but we may not get it up to the same horsepower, but I'm going to guess this thing will be even lighter. Because it's one of those super tiny micro cars. Can we bump up the displacement? No. Then it wouldn't classify as a K-class car, or whatever those are known as. Engine balancing, yes, that's all very good. And port polish, yeah. For 3 more horsepower, I'll do it. Absolutely. unquestioningly, unflinchingly. Let's get them super softs going. Purchase them, equip them, do everything. Let's do the weight reduction, because I usually like to do it just because it makes the car perform better in every way, and at least in terms of this game, there's no real penalty for it. Like, I kind of feel bad sometimes when I buy, like, I remember the first time I bought this game, the first money I went out, or the first car I went out and paid some money for to get on my own was a Mercury Cougar. And then when I went back and, like, tuned it up a whole bunch and tuned the engine, I kind of felt bad because I completely changed the, like, muscle car engine note because it was all, like, high tuned and it was going like, and it was just, it didn't sound like a classic pony car sort of a thing. Special stage Route 5 again. Oh gosh, you're killing me with this stuff. We're going backwards this time. Okay. Duly noted. And no, I guess this car isn't going to be faster than the Astoria after all. Going to be a lot faster than those other Alto wagons, but that's not necessarily saying a whole lot, as it turns out. It has to do with the engineering of the cars. There's nothing necessarily wrong with this car and the driving experience of it so far, per se, but it does not seem to have the same kind of a fun character. It might on a much smaller track. That is one thing that they introduce in, can't remember if it's Gran Turismo 3 or Gran Turismo 4. I think it might be 3. There's a particular, and it's a real-life circuit in Japan. I would probably butcher the pronunciation, but it's like the Tsukuba circuit or something like that. And it is way, like, it's tighter, the turns are all, like, shorter, the straightaways are all shorter and stuff. It's a sort of a tighter confines kind of track than most of the ones in this game. And that actually makes racing around these little tiny cars a little more fun. It's like it's a down-to-scale racetrack for them. It's interesting, the higher and higher up you go with sports cars in the United States, sports cars and Indy cars and NASCARs and all that sort of thing, the more faster they're getting, and they're getting to the point where they're too fast for a lot of America's sort of classic road race circuits. Like, people will say that Indy cars are now so fast that they can't be raced really well on the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, which is actually my favorite racetrack to go out and visit. Been there a couple times, and it's laid out really nicely, and It's not so huge that you can't walk around all of it without, completely wearing yourself out and taking forever. And it's laid out in such a way that basically it's an interesting one because the pit lane's on the outside and the paddock is on the outside of the track. So the infield of the track is pretty much just for people to walk around in. Campers, like vendors, tents to get bratwursts and stuff. All that sort of good deals. Not going to save the game, going to go next. This is going to be a somewhat longish video, but I want to go ahead and get this Alto all towed up. Then I won't have to worry about Suzuki. I won't have to worry about Suzuki as a brand ever again, at least in this game, aside from that bad boy up there in the picture. I suppose it's kind of sad because actually the go red or teal. Red, teal, red, teal, red, teal, red, teal, red, teal, red. Performed. So there you go. It's kind of sad, yeah, but Suzuki no longer selling cars in the United States. I think you might still be able to buy motorcycles from them, but not selling cars in the U.S. anymore. They had some interesting cars. I think Lethal was telling me about the Suzuki Aereo he's got, which seems like it'd be a pretty cool car. Autumn Ring, that'd be a good place to try and race around one of these smaller cars. It's got little tight confines. And I remember they made I guess we talked about it a little bit during one of the endurance races that I had with the Pikes Peak car. They also made the Suzuki Sidekick, which Gio also made into the Tracker. But that was a pretty versatile platform for them because they also made, in addition to the sort of like, I think most of them got sold initially as like little two-door things. They also made the Suzuki Samurai, which got a bad reputation for rolling over, in part because they're basically just sort of small Jeep size. They're like little short wheelbase, tall riding Jeep style things, and Jeeps also have a reputation for rolling over. But like the Sidekick slash Tracker was like a slightly bigger version of that sort of a thing. Still not big, but bigger than a Samurai. But they eventually stretched that into a four-door model, and then after that they stretched it into a 7-passenger four-door model, the XL7. So it was like a limo tracker or something. And they put like a V6 into it at that point, and you're supposed to be able to tow a 3,000-pound trailer with it and all this sort of thing, and I was always like, what? But it's still like the Tracker. But yeah, it was, so they had those. They sold, but that was the thing. Suzuki sold a bunch of like sort of random SUVs, one or two occasional random cars here and there, and And pickups. They would sell some pickups. Wait, am I thinking that right? Maybe Suzuki never did sell pickups. It seems like all the Japanese makes at one time or another sold compact pickups, because that was a big thing for the to the Japanese export market at that point, or for a long time during like the late 70s and into the 80s and the early 90s even. But now that I think about it, Suzuki may not have had a they might not have had one. But either way, we won that. So, and we were in the oldest car. Haha. Take that, all you other Alto Workses. You clearly over-prepared. Anyway. I'm going to go ahead and revel in this first place finish. I'm going to revel in my money. And we're going to save the game. Because we've done a little bit of stuff so far. When we come back next time, I might go on another money-making mission or two and get back up to $1 million. Buy one of those nice $1 million cars that I've been looking at. Whether it's that Storia rally car, or it is that TTLM edition. Something like one of those. So I can take it out, tear up things. But either way, folks, this is Boba the Vulture. This is Let's Play Gran Turismo 2. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye now.